This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with the one, the only, Brandon Swanson.
Hey.
And it's been it feels like a long time. It feels like the first time. It feels like the very first time that I've been saying that. And it is the first time I get to say that in 2019 because I haven't seen you in a while, bud.
It's been a long time.
How was your sabbatical?
It was really nice. I almost didn't come back.
I mean, it would have been a shame if you didn't come back. I mean, Dave was keeping the seat very warm. I think he was kind of making his own base camp over there. He was getting a little bit too comfortable here on the Primetime Podcast.
I'm sure Davey did just fine. I'm sure.
Did you just call him Davey?
Davey, yeah. I'm sure he did a superb job.
He did a great job.
I wouldn't know because I didn't watch
basketball.
anything.
We talked nothing but basketball. It was an entire NBA draft, and then obviously the big board. I know you were all upset that, I missed the NBA big board 2.0.
I was broken up inside.
But we got a jam-packed show for you guys, talking nothing but college football. I'm gonna ask Brandon about the national championship, obviously, before we get into everything. We're gonna be talking Ohio State football with Justin Fields transferring over. We're gonna be talking about Dwayne Haskins because of that. He's going to be going to the NFL, going to be talking about where he could be in the draft. And then we got to talk Justin Herbert because we hit it on the onside kick. We got to hit it here on the Primetime Podcast of, is he going to regret returning to Oregon for his senior season? We're going to look into that. But two things I got to mention. First off, I got to congratulate, I think it's Victor, if I'm not mistaken, from Sydney, Australia is his bracket pool. He won our bracket last year when it was just straight pick'ems. He won it again this year, Brandon. Victor had 508 total points. Second place was 475. My bracket was almost dead last, but I came in fourth place out of our five that were in it, and I had 413. So not a good showing for me. My percentage was about a 30%. Correct rate, which is not good.
That's pretty much what you were all season, right?
Good old Victor, though, 82.2 percentile for his bracket. So he did phenomenal. And yet again, congratulations for winning our bracket. But we just got to stop having the Bowl Mania bracket picks because he wins it each and every year that we do it. Also, got to make sure to let you know, check out patreon.com/most valuable podcast if I can get rid of the hiccups that I've got. That's how you can support us. We cannot do what we do without the support of our patrons and love each and every one of them. Check that link down below in the description. But Brandon, let's jump in. Our first topic is got to be Justin Fields. And we kind of had a similar topic last year at this time because another Big Ten team had a quarterback transfer over, Shae Patterson, and we had the basic same thing of what does it mean for Michigan. Justin Fields, a little bit of a different situation. He's going to be coming over after 1 year at Georgia where, I'm going to be completely honest, when I saw his decision video and he said, I'm staying home and going to Georgia, my first reaction was he does know that Jake Fromm is A, the starting quarterback, and B, is not eligible to go into the 2019 draft. He knows this, right? He knows that Fromm is going to be there and isn't going to lose that job. Well, apparently he didn't. Apparently him and his dad had conversations with Kirby Smart that might have suggested otherwise, but Fields not happy, transferring out just like Jacob Eason did last year. He'll be at Washington and be able to play this upcoming season. But with Fields, right now he is committed to transfer to the Ohio State University. Right now, if everything stands, he will not be able to play in 2019. He'd have to wait till 2020. However, he could get a hardship waiver that he is currently applying for. He's hired the same lawyer that helped Shae Patterson get his hardship waiver when he transferred from Ole Miss to the Michigan Wolverines. For the sake of argument, Brandon, we're just going to say, let's say he gets the hardship waiver. He's able to play in 2019 in the first season that we will not have Urban Meyer at the head of Ohio State. What does this mean for the Buckeyes and their football program?
Well, here's what I think it means is we don't know what it means yet.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really know what Justin Fields is going to be able to bring. We didn't see a lot of him at Georgia. We really didn't. We saw him for maybe 10 total plays all season long. I mean, that's how little we got to see of Justin Fields. But so many people have Justin Fields tied to Trevor Lawrence in the fact of like 1-2. Fields and Lawrence 1-2, or Lawrence and Fields 1-2.
Because that's how they came into college.
That's exactly how they came into college, and I think that's how many people are going to look at them moving forward. But Justin Fields goes over to Ohio State. He wants Ryan Day to help mold him into a really good quarterback, and that's something that Ryan Day, I think, can do. But again, we don't know where Justin Fields is right now. Do we believe that he is the playmaking type of quarterback that is a game changer and a complete, I guess, I can't say franchise, but team changer where it takes you from A to Z really quickly and you are already a contender for next year's championship game? That's what people want to believe that he is. But we don't know that. We do not know that. But I think Ryan Day is a guy who would most likely play to the skill set that Justin Fields has and be able to put pieces around him to make him succeed. If you take a look at what we saw last night, Trevor Lawrence is an outstanding quarterback, first of all, but he's got some really good pieces around him. He's got a really good running game. He's got some extremely talented young wide receivers. The future for Clemson is very bright. And if that same type of thing, or even to a lesser amount, if that's the same type of thing that's going on over at Ohio State with Justin Fields now going over there, that could be pretty incredible for that team, because I don't want to say it'll be like Dwayne Haskins never left, but it will be a very smooth transition back into what they were trying to build when Dwayne Haskins was there.
Well, and that's the first thing I wanted to mention is the good thing is that, because you're right, the thing that this is different from Shae Patterson is Shae Patterson was an upperclassman. We have seen what he was able to do in college before we were able to kind of say, okay, we kind of know what to expect. I'll say this, let's be honest. When we look back to our Clemson preview, we were not super high on Clemson this year. I know I wasn't. I don't remember if you were super high on them to begin the year, but I was not, because A, I didn't believe in Kelly Bryant, and B, it was if Trevor Lawrence takes over. At the time, it was, if this kid Trevor Lawrence takes over, how is he going to play? Even when he got the starting job, it was, how is he going to respond at the next level? And I think the biggest thing with you've got Fields coming in is, what can he do? Can this team do what they usually do and kind of reload their weapons? Because the first thing I look at is Paris Campbell's not going to be there next year. He's going to lose, let's see, if I'm not mistaken, Malcolm Pridgeon, the left guard, is going to be gone. Isaiah Prince, your right tackle, is going to be gone. Michael Jordan Jr. has a potential to be gone. Those are three guys starting on the offensive line as of November 28th here on our lads and their depth chart. I mean, you'll still have J.K. Dobbins, hopefully, as your running back, but what can you do with those weapons? Can those weapons reload like we've seen in several years? Because it always seems like with Ohio State, there's always a new wide receiver, a new running back. That, they have Zeke, they've got someone underneath. They have Curtis Samuel, they have someone else underneath who is going to take that spot. Paris Campbell leaves, who's the next guy that's going to take Paris Campbell's spot? And for me with Justin Fields is, yes, we haven't seen what he would be, but the thing that's really going to help him is if Ohio State can just surround him with playmakers that he can just get the ball to. Kind of like if I look to the NFL, I was really down on Patrick Mahomes to start the year, didn't know what we were going to get from him. He's surrounded by playmakers that he can just get the ball to, and the Kansas City Chiefs were fine. So I kind of relate it to that sense, even though one's in the NFL and one's in college.
Tate Martell, he's the quarterback that's over at Ohio State right now. He's the guy who has more time put in with
Redshirt
Ryan
freshman.
Day.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reason to just completely pass by him and say Justin Fields, okay, we have Justin Fields now, he's the guy? Or do we possibly see some sort of Fields versus Martell in the spring, and is there going to be some sort of quarterback battle? And it's because of,
for the audio listeners, I'm doing air quotes on quarterback battle.
And it's because of, yes, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields both came out at the same time. They were 1-2, as we mentioned before.
Yeah, one was,
and
if you look at it, Fields was the number one dual threat. Lawrence was the number one pro style.
And we have seen what Trevor Lawrence is.
National champion.
In his first year, not even his first full season. A lot of people aren't necessarily as high on Justin Fields overall as a quarterback. So if we're getting something less than Trevor Lawrence, okay, that can still be really good, but how much less than Trevor Lawrence? And again, I'm not trying to be a naysayer per se, but is there something to, we've seen guys transfer before, think it's going to go really well, and then all of a sudden, poof, it does not. But they also haven't been one of the top quarterbacks coming out in their class into college football.
Well, I mean, look at Shae Patterson. We thought, I'll be honest, I thought when he was transferring over, Michigan's got a shot to win the Big Ten. They got a shot to make it to the college
Michigan
football
did
playoff.
end up having a shot to win the Big Ten and
did.
blew it.
They blew it, though. And even look at the very first game when they played Notre Dame. I would say not Shae Patterson's best game. Maybe it's not a sense of he had a shit game, but Notre Dame had a really good game that game.
But there seemed to be, in my opinion, there seemed to be too many games where Shae Patterson didn't have his best game, quote unquote. There were a lot of games where Karan Higdon had to be the guy to carry the team. The running game had to carry the team for Michigan, and Shae Patterson was able to have his 190 yards and a touchdown with an interception or whatever it might have been. Yes, he had games where he was better than that, but he didn't have a lot of games where he was better than that. So I think Justin Fields is going to be much better than what Shae Patterson was, but I'm just saying, how much farther down is he than where Trevor Lawrence is right now and where Trevor Lawrence can be? What are their ceilings? What are their floors? Based off of each other, like I said, we've seen what Trevor Lawrence is right now, and that is what everyone seems to want to have. I think the Oakland Raiders are going to trade for 2021 draft picks right now. So that is going to be the question. Fields has transferred. He's there. He's at Ohio State. First question, is he going to be eligible for this next season? The second question then is he outright the better quarterback, the best quarterback that they have on their roster, and how good is he as a dual threat quarterback?
Here's what I think, and I don't know for sure how many meetings Justin Fields had with Ohio State before he made the decision, but I'm assuming that if he had at least one meeting with Ryan Day must have given him a good inkling that he's going to be the starter. Because Justin Fields in his head, I don't make that mistake twice. I've already made it once, and I already wasted a year one time, where I wasted my freshman year, unless he wanted to redshirt, but I haven't heard anything about that. So I wasted my freshman year. I'm going to come in as a sophomore. Then if I have to wait another year because I don't get my hardship waiver, I've basically wasted 2 years of my college career. Well, the hardship waiver wouldn't be against him. He'd still come in as a sophomore. But I've been 2 years now not playing football and not starting. So if I'm Justin Fields, I'm not transferring somewhere unless I have a pretty good inkling then I'm going to be the starter. And the prediction that I would make is that when you say quarterback battle, we're going to hear that word all through the spring. Oh, Tate Martell and Justin Fields, they're just going to have to battle for it. We're going to see who the best guy is. Ryan Day is going to name Justin Fields the starter. Like, you don't get a transfer like Justin Fields. If he gets that hardship waiver and is playing in 2019, he will be trotted out there Saturday, August 31st. Maybe if they go up 42-0 on Lane Kiffin and FAU, then maybe Martell gets in the game. But if I'm Tate Martell, this is my prediction with him. I'm not telling him he should do it. This is what I think it is. He's going to become the next Joe Burrow. He's going to be the next guy where it's like, oh, I'm going to take over. Oh, someone else came in and I'm gone. Because he ain't going to be starting. I don't see Justin Fields transferring somewhere and him not being the starter because he's made that mistake once. Why would he make it again? Now, if he doesn't get the hardship waiver, then you're in an interesting situation because Tate Martell would definitely be the starter for 2019, and then 2020 you've got some decisions to make because it depends on how Tate Martell does. I mean, in the two games where he had his significant throws, I mean, against Rutgers, I know it's Rutgers, but he went 10 of 10 for 121 yards and a touchdown. His longest was a 51-yard bomb, and he had 95 yards on the ground and a touchdown on the ground. Whereas you look at the game against Tulane, another game where they won 49-6, so that's why he got in there. 10 of 14, 115 yards, had about 22 on the ground, had a rushing touchdown. So, I mean, I'm not saying that Ohio State is going to be dead in the water if Tate Martell's their quarterback, but it really depends on, is Fields going to get his hardship waiver? I think he's going to because, I mean, all the signs are sitting there for yes. Unless the NCAA just believes like, no, this is your mistake. Like, the thing that helped Shae Patterson is everything that went on with Hugh Freeze. Because he could say, this was not my fault. I was not the one that put my football program in this situation, and I shouldn't have to deal with these sanctions because I wasn't the idiot that did what Hugh Freeze did. Whereas Justin Fields, they could look at it and go, no, it was your decision to commit to the Georgia Bulldogs. We can't say, oh, well, Kirby Smart should have started you. You made that decision, and that's where it's going to be interesting to see if the lawyer can swing this and get Fields' hardship waiver, because it's, like I said before, I'll say it again, it's very different than Shae Patterson, because in Shae Patterson's situation, none of it was his fault of why he was transferring.
No, you're definitely right. So that was obviously something that they looked at that was pretty much a no-brainer on making that, okay, that's fine, come right through. This could be different. This is obviously different, but if it doesn't work out, I think that is certainly something going against Fields. That's definitely working against him if he is not able to get it to play this next season, because then you're going to get a whole year of other guys or one other guy being able to showcase his skills and ability.
Well, who knows?
If he
comes in, they win the Big Ten, that's against you.
That's what I am saying. You have a whole season of guys that you're watching, looking at, play really well if they do, and all of a sudden, Justin Fields isn't a big name anymore. So he has to hope that waiver goes through and that he's going to be allowed to play and granted permission to play by the NCAA this next season for Ohio State.
And I mean, we could look back in hindsight. I'm going to look up one more time because I want to make sure I get this right. I believe Florida State was in one of his teams because I remember it vividly, Brandon, because we were doing a podcast that day, and I was like, why would he choose to go to Georgia? I mean, Jake Fromm is there. And like, I think Florida State was in his some choices, or LSU was at least, because I remember looking at it and going, why wouldn't he choose Florida State? Like, look at their quarterback situation. I mean, yeah, DeAndre Francois, many people thought, oh, he's going to come back and he's going to be what he was. Well, he's not. And then you look at LSU, where this was before they had Joe Burrows, I believe. After Joe Burrows came in, that would have made it a muddier situation. But I just think that this, hopefully for him, he gets the hardship waiver. I don't think he will, because I think that the NCAA is going to look at it and go, no, this is a you decision. It's kind of like what, when I was listening to Pat McAfee's show, his podcast, he has said this in more than one occasion. He was talking about something, and he goes, no, that sounds like a you problem. That's what the NCAA is going to say. They're going to go to Justin Fields and say, no, this sounds like a you problem, not a we problem. You have to live with this decision because you chose to commit to the Georgia Bulldogs, and it's not our fault that you didn't start and you didn't take into consideration that Jake Fromm, or that you thought, hey, I'm so good, because that could have been it too. Like, I don't know Justin Fields, so I can't make any kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think about his character and say, oh, I know him, because I don't. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, hey, number one recruit coming out of high school, 18-year-old kid. Hey, I can come in and beat. Who's Jake Fromm? I could beat Jake Fromm. I'm better than Jake Fromm. Well, not to Kirby Smart. You weren't better than Jake Fromm. So I could see how that might have been in it as well, because Georgia also, there was a whole thing of staying home as well. So the big thing is the hardship waiver, but I think if he gets the hardship waiver, we will have, and I'm using my air quotes again, a quarterback battle, and then he'll get the starting job. He'll play FSU or FAU and do fine. He'll play Cincinnati, a little bit of a tougher opponent, and he'll be fine. And then he's got Indiana, which Indiana usually plays Ohio State tough, but I think he'll be fine. Then Miami of Ohio, then Nebraska. Like, Nebraska could be his first real tough game in Lincoln, Nebraska. Like, they don't play, I'm looking at their 2019 schedule, they don't play Michigan. Michigan State, I would say, is their first hard opponent, and that is their sixth game into the year. They obviously don't play Michigan until the end. They don't play Penn State until the week before Michigan on November 23rd. So, I mean, the schedule, even Wisconsin, is October 26th. The schedule is in the favor of Fields if he gets his hardship waivers. What are your final thoughts on this before we move over into the quarterback from Ohio State that's leaving the Buckeyes?
Well, you know, the word from his camp is that they believe they're making a good case that they'll get the waiver. So then you move over to, is there going to be a quarterback battle? And I think that yes, there is, because Tate Martell was a guy who in 2017 came out as the number 2 dual threat quarterback. They're now going to have 2 dual threat quarterbacks.
And he hasn't played bad in his games.
And who is going to emerge as the number 1 guy? So this is not a foregone conclusion that it's going to be Justin Fields. That's just my final feeling on the matter.
Yeah, and I hope I'm gonna say this right, and you can correct me if I'm using this word wrong, because usually I do. Maybe I'm just coming at it with a very cynical view of it, to where for me, I would love that to be the case for Tate Martell, that if Justin Fields comes in and he's able to play, let's have a true quarterback battle. But I feel like if the hardship waiver is given, or maybe Ohio State was like, hey, I'm going to let you know you're probably not going to win your hardship waiver, and Justin Fields still said, okay, that's fine, I still want to commit here. I don't know. I'm not in the head. Wasn't a fly on the wall. I'm not in the head of Justin Fields, but this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. What do you guys think about the whole Justin Fields transfer? Is it a good decision, bad decision? Is it going to help OSU? Is he going to get the hardship waiver? Anything we talked about, let us know what you're thinking down below in that comment section.